Okay, so here is a prototype that I really did not expect to own. This came from Grandstand, obviously, and I knew like 3 other people that were planning to bid on this. Usually I just wouldn't have bid at all, but a lot of the time I tend to just if there's something I kind of want, I'll just kind of put in a bid last second just in case it ends up going super low, and that's kind of what happened with this guy. I barely bid anything. I knew if any of the people that really wanted it would have won, they would have ended up bidding, like, something crazy, right? But none of them ended up bidding, and I got this for, it was, less than $60 total, which is pretty crazy for this. So, it's not one that I was, freaking out over, but it's still a really nice prototype, and it just so happens that I have every other produced Monster Maniac in this set except for Mitch, so he also completes my Monster Maniac set. He is a little bit goofy because he's completely different from the produced ones, and although I do kind of like produced Mitch better, he is still super special. And he's a prototype, so, although the produced Monster Maniacs, they do just kind of, I don't know, this one and the green one, Madge, the other prototype that Grandstand sold months ago, or almost probably over a year ago, or 2 years ago, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, they just kind of have like a completely different vibe to them. Like they look almost like not uncanny, but they just look a little. They look so goofy. Like these ones look. I don't know. They just kind of don't have the same feel to them. Like these have like more of a Sesame Street vibe to them. These just have like kids toy vibes to them, like it's completely different. And although I still do think that the produced ones are better, I still love the prototypes a ton, and I'm sure that they made all 4 that looked like that at some point, so that's really cool, and I wish I could own them all because that would just be such a cool set to complete. With that being said, though, I'm still super happy to own this, and I think I mentioned in my last video, but I actually already recorded this video, but I just really wasn't happy with it, and I have some other things to add now. So, I was talking to 9Baby Einstein, and, he was saying that he thought that they were released, and it turns out he was talking about the birthday ones. And there's also a birthday, Maximilian and Madge, and they kind of have the same look, but the fur is completely different, and they just overall look completely different. And he was saying that he thinks this is just an early birthday one without the song. But actually that isn't true. This is an early version of one of the 4 circus monsters. It has the exact same item number as the normal Madge, and that's exactly what this is. So, although it does still look like a completely different item, it's so weird how they completely changed them. And surprisingly, this has an almost completely produced board inside too. It has one of those tiny little cob things like on a produced board, but it's not soldered onto a big PCB. It has 2 smaller H-bridge ones, and it has a few components on it, and it's just a worse setup of basically a production board. So, yeah, this is a pretty late prototype, and it's just completely different to the produced ones, so it seems like they took a complete 180 and just changed the whole direction of the series, which is pretty cool, but it's crazy to see how far they got with this design. Unfortunately, his original board was completely shot when I got it. The back of that cob IC was completely black, which isn't a good sign to begin with, and I was pretty sure that it was done for, but I took the time to clean it up and rewire the whole thing, replace all the components, make it look super nice, and lo and behold, it did not work. So now he has a produced Valentine's Monster Maniac board inside of him. Luckily though, the green Madge that grandstand sold. Another collector got that and posted a video, and the audio is exactly the same. It just plays Mana Mana. I'm sure that those two would have been the same, so yeah, he's pretty much identical to what it would have been, although it does really suck that the original board didn't make it, because I would prefer to have the originality, obviously. Those boards were really, really hard to clean up too, because they had like a giant chunk. They were like encased in a giant like cocoon of hot glue when I got it. Like literally like this big on the back, covered in hot glue, like completely, and it's 3 separate little boards. So I spent literal hours with a heat gun at the lowest setting, just slowly melting the glue and peeling it all apart. And eventually I got it all apart, and after wiring it all up, I had no luck, and it just didn't work at all. So, yeah. But even though I was pretty sure that that was going to be the case, I'm still happy that I tried it, because, again, I really wish that it could work on the original board, but that's just not the case. The second part of repairing it, though, that was the worst, was cleaning the skin. It had awful rust stains, like the entire bottom of the legs was completely brown. This hand was really bad, and you can kind of see it there still, but not really. His skin is almost completely spotless now, and I'm really happy with the result. Those rust stains, the way I got them out was, a mixture of stuff, but mostly vinegar, because I realized, oh, it's rust, right? So, vinegar, and I was right. I just used a mixture of soap and water and vinegar and a little bit of bleach, and I just scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed until eventually I got all of those stains out. And then I put it back in the washer, and just to get all the stuff, the vinegar smell out of it, you know. And then, lo and behold, it's perfect now. So I'm super happy with it, and it took hours. The repairs on this actually aren't completely done. Right now, the original mechanisms were far beyond repair. There were actually a few resin pieces on it, which were really cool, and actually I did salvage all of the pieces that were resin, and all of those are still inside of it, because I did want to keep those original. But so much shattered plastic, all of the, literally anything metal inside of it, including all the screws, had to be replaced, because they were just so far gone. Like, literally snapping apart because of how rusted they were. Like, it was bad. So I pretty much replaced, like, most of it with just the parts from that same Valentine's Monster Maniac that I used for the board. And I also did replace the bottom of it, and, it's actually different than on one of these, and this is how it should look. So I will eventually buy another, normal Monster Maniac to fix that, but for now, it's okay. And as you can see down here, I also made, just kind of for fun, I replicated what the green one has, because I just changed it to blue and changed the item number over. And this is the original tag. It's really dirty because I, cut the seam here and I took it out before I washed the skin. So, because I didn't want all of that to fade away. But that's pretty much all that I have to say about this guy. I'm super happy to have him, and he's honestly grown on me a ton. He's one of my favorite prototypes that I own now. So, without further ado, I will play him for you. And one more. And to show you how different the recordings are, although I'm sure you've heard it, I will also try to do a little duet with a produced Monster Maniac. And it is unfortunate I don't have produced Madge, or Mitch to compare it to, but you could see the general differences just on Madge here. So, yeah. Alright. That's pretty much all that I have to say, so thank you for watching, and goodbye.